Alright, you almost finished the course about improving your sleep. And I just want to wrap things up by giving you a core content summary and the next step, right? Because now it's all about putting this into action. But first of all, I want to give you an overview of all that I have taught you about how to improve sleep, your lifestyle, and so on to live a more energetic life. So, it's all about less time in bed, right? It's about decreasing the number of hours we spend asleep while maintaining a high level of performance, is starting by improving the quality of sleep, right? It's not about quantity, it's about quality. We talked about the different sleep stages and what they are helpful for, and which ones are responsible for which part of the restoration of body and mind. So now I want to go through every separate module that we have been talking about and give you a high-level overview of the insights that you can apply in your daily lifestyle. So in module 1, we talked about your body temperature and how it is responsible for gaining deep sleep, right? You needed to have a higher body temperature during the day and a lower body temperature during the night, so that there is this temperature drop which enhances your deep sleep. And there are various ways to control this body temperature through exercise during the day, through light exposure, and so on. Second thing we talked about was light exposure itself and how it affects our melatonin production and also affects our serotonin and cortisol production, which actually awakes the brain, right? And how light can be beneficial for you during the day and in the morning, especially sunlight, but how it can be harmful during the night. So you should avoid using electronic devices, for example, because it awakes the brain, and it decreases the production of melatonin in the evening. Third of all, in module 1, we talked about consumption, right? How alcohol is harmful to your health, how caffeine is harmful to your health, and that we should be looking very careful into what kind of food we put into our body because it affects our sleep greatly. In module 2, we talked about exercise. And exercise during the day can be highly beneficial because it increases your body temperature during the day and therefore resulting in a higher temperature drop during the night, which results in a deeper sleep. Second of all, we talked about maintaining a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed at the same time every day and waking up at the same time every day, even in the weekends, to train your body and your circadian rhythm in order to fall asleep more naturally and wake up more naturally. And we talked about getting plenty of light during the day and avoiding bright lights and electronics in the evening. In module 3, we talked about avoiding stimulants, right? Caffeine and drinking cups of coffee, and that you should have your last cup of coffee at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, because it takes a long time for your body to really digest the caffeine that is inside that will actually awake the brain itself. We talked about the effects of alcohol and that drinking a glass of wine prior to sleep may get you to sleep, but doesn't bring you quality sleep. We talked about hydration, drinking plenty of water to make sure all the processes in the body run smoothly, and that you should drink at least 2 liters during the day. We talked about avoiding foods that are taxing to digest, that are high in sugar, saturated fat, and so on. And we talked about avoiding sleeping aids. And we wanted to stress that you should really avoid them because they might be a short-term fix, but they are definitely not a long-term solution. Improving your sleep is all about tweaking your behavior and your lifestyle in order to get a better night's rest. In module 4, we recommended you to sleep in a cool environment. It should be in between 65 and 70 degrees or in 18 degrees Celsius. Why? Well, because of the body temperature, right? We used to sleep next to campfires hundreds of years ago, and now we warm our houses and it's way too warm inside. So in order to ensure this temperature drop of the body temperature, you want to sleep in a cooler environment during the night. We talked about masking noise with white noise and earplugs in order to overcome it. We also talked about that your bed should be your sanctuary and that it is only for sleeping or sexual intercourse. We talked about that you should breathe through your nose because the benefits of breathing through your nose over breathing through your mouth are so beneficial. that you should always do it. And the fifth, we also talked about your posture, right? That you should ideally sleep on your back and your side rather than on your stomach because it puts pressure on your vital organs. And in the fifth module, we talked about the importance of waking up in a light sleep cycle or after a rapid eye movement sleep to avoid waking up groggy. You can do so by using a smart alarm or something. We also talked about strategies to overcome restlessness, right? The external brain, writing down what you have to do the next morning, identifying what mind-racing activities you do before going to bed, and some calming experiments you can do in your bedtime ritual prior of going to bed. Meditation or reading and those kind of things. And third of all, we talked about the benefits of power naps, the ideal length of 45 to 60 minutes, and when you should be doing it during the day. And that basically sums up the whole course in a very high-level overview. But I encourage you to look back at this course every time you feel like you forgot something or you want to work on a particular part of your behavior or lifestyle. Next up, I want to offer you a worksheet so you can be very actionable about all these tips and keep track of how you have been improving over time by applying these lifestyle changes.